ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
Good morning, I'm Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
You call this living?
Yeah, this is living. This is great living.
This is.
We're in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
We're so lucky.
We're in the South.
Storm going on.
Yeah,
Wow.
we are, absolutely.
I pray everybody's safe. I know they've lost several lives.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
But I don't think, other than the places where the storm stalled out, I don't think it did quite as much damage overall up and down that coast as they thought it might do.
Perhaps not. Still one of the most expensive storms ever, I think.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
But
it got over that one spot and just stayed there.
Yeah.
Just hammered
right.
down.
And that happened to the Carolinas a couple of years ago as well. So, that's devastating as far as floodwaters and stuff like that when that happens, dumping that
Well, and
water.
it slowed down enough to where it went back out and picked up again and came back. It hit twice, basically.
It was big. It just goes to show, one day to the next, you're not sure what's going to happen. So
Right.
Get ready. Get provisions. I worry about that
People
myself.
get ready, there's a change a-coming. I love that song.
I do too. Anyway,
I'm
are
glad
you
y'all
ready?
thought of that this morning. That was
Do
pretty
y'all
good.
have provisions? Everybody ought to have provisions. Like water stashed away and.
Yeah.
Milk and bread. And cheese. Government cheese.
I'll pass on the milk. When the electricity's off, I don't think that's going to work unless it's going to churn.
Yeah, there you go.
Good
Make butter.
point,
Yeah.
Becky. Good point.
Anyway, people need to be prepared. Back in our
Ice.
military days, we were always prepared. You never knew but what you were going to have to evacuate during Vietnam. We just had our car full of stuff, and we were prepared.
And there's a whole lot of people. What are those? What are they called? That are have stuff stored up in the mountains. There's a specific name.
Survivalist. maybe.
Survivalist type. There's a
Yeah.
whole lot of people that take that very seriously and have
Well-
their houses and their basements full of stuff. And then there's a whole lot that just flit around like every day. You're going to be able to go to the grocery store.
I don't think
Right.
that's a new thing, because my father, being the world's greatest farmer, he said that you should always have enough provisions to survive for 2 years. And that's like
I think then.
in case of famine and your crops don't grow and all that kind of stuff.
Right, because they've been through that.
Absolutely, and I think we've talked about this a few times. Peggy and I are probably the only ones with that poor remember this, but we had a cellar in my grandmother's house because we didn't have electricity for a long time, and it was filled with canned goods and stuff like that she had canned at home and got the food out of the garden primarily.
And you didn't have to run to the store every time you needed something.
No,
You
and
ran
it was
downstairs to the basement. There it was.
Right.
And you had a lot of people had a smokehouse with meat hanging in it.
Oh, yeah.
We had a smokehouse, but
We did too.
it got turned into a chicken house. She raised chickens.
Yeah.
My grandmother raised chickens.
Well, that's food too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Wring a neck, pluck some
Wring a neck,
feathers.
pluck some feathers, make a pillow, and
I've seen
eat
her
a
do
chicken.
that. I've seen her do that many times, and then I've also seen her take this cat that we had. But he got to killing the chickens.
Oh, I was thought she cooked the cat.
No, she didn't cook the cat.
Well, that's in Vietnam.
She did away with the cat herself, and I witnessed it, and it was.
Well, there was a time in
pretty
my
sad,
life
but-
when I thought I'd never in my life eat another chicken. You just
Yeah.
kill a few and
Right.
singe the hair off of them and cut them up.
Yeah.
You're thinking, do I need this?
Yeah.
When did hot chicken come around?
Hot chicken?
I don't remember.
I've noticed that they're advertising Nashville hot chicken. I mean, it's like fried chicken,
Fried chicken.
but this is
Chicken wings.
hot chicken.
Hot
Right.
chicken.
Hot chicken. I guess it's bathed in some kind of hot sauce, and that's a big deal now. Hot
Yeah.
chicken.
Hot chicken. That's weird. Well,
I like cold
nothing's weird.
chicken, basically. Myself. I think chicken's pretty good out of the refrigerator after it's been fried.
Fried
put in
chicken.
there.
Fried chicken is
yeah.
excellent that way. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Smells
good.
good,
Oh,
doesn't
it
it?
does smell so
Smells
good.
Yeah.
It's like popcorn at the Civic Center. When they're cooking, I know this is off the subject, but when
No,
they're,
that's
when they
all
have
right.
popcorn,
Nothing's off
Nothing's
the
off the
Well,
subject.
when
It's
they're
not like
popping-
we have a script here.
when they're popping corn there, it's just a smell that I love.
Oh, heavens, yes.
It smells great.
Yeah, popcorn, that smell right there just everywhere. And that's one of the things that Coons Five and Dime store downtown Tullahoma had a specific smell. It's where Fast Jack's was and now 121.
Okay.
It was Wilson's
Around.
department store originally.
Okay.
And then it was Coons Five and Dime. And that's where you could buy your little chickens, multicolored chickens for Easter.
Yeah,
They had them in the
I
window.
always thought that was terrible to sell.
But they had a snack bar in the
Down.
back there, and between the popcorn, and they also did fixed clothes there. I mean, you bought clothes there,
Yeah.
and you could smell starch in there and ironing. And I don't know, it was just a basic bunch of smells that went together in my mind that smelled, when the door was open, you'd smell that smell.
Yeah.
You've kept that smell of Coons in your
And, oh yeah,
head.
I wrote something about it one time because I was somewhere and I was walking by this old store and somebody opened the door and it was Coons. It smelled like Coons, and all of a sudden my mind
went there.
to Coons.
Yeah.
I mean, because smell is a very, very powerful sense.
I believe
Matter of fact,
that.
probably the most powerful sense we have is the sense of smell.
Yeah.
But so it also brings along memories.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can still smell pinto beans cooking at my
Yeah.
mama's house.
Right.
Oh, speaking about farming,
Were we speaking about farming?
well, we were earlier.
Oh, right, okay. You got a local
There's a
farming?
goose on my commode and a pig in my tub. A duck in the hall, a hen under the dining room table laying eggs. In the kitchen, a goat eating honey bunches of oats. Thank you for that line. Oh, look, sipping coffee in the breakfast nook. Laura Ingalls.
Laura Ingalls.
Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
That's where all those animals came from.
I'm glad you asked that question because I would have never.
I was fixing to ask him what he'd been smoking.
Right.
Duck
No, that's
feathers.
cute. I
Duck
like it.
feathers. Hey, something else too. Philip, are you ready with this? I want to put this picture up and I want to congratulate Motlow recognizes 40 years. They've been recognized in service of employees. Right. This is the only 40-year employee, and this is Carolyn Wells. We call her President Wells.
Oh, okay.
She's standing there with the new president, Michael Torrance. But we've called Carolyn President Wells for years because she's been there longer than any of the presidents.
Yeah, right.
That is wonderful.
40 years, and Carolyn's a dear, dear, sweet woman, and she and Candy worked out there together when Candy worked at Motlow.
Yeah.
No, really.
And she's been part of our life for years and years and years, and we just want to congratulate Dr. Wells, President Wells, for 40 years of service to Motlow College.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it
is.
is.
Congratulations.
She's just
Yeah.
such a sweet, wonderful girl. So congratulations, Carolyn.
I'm proud of Motlow. Aren't you proud of Motlow?
Oh,
For us to
heavens,
have
yes.
that in our
Absolutely,
community?
yeah.
It's
Heavens,
grown a lot.
Yes.
And
I
that
think
whole
it's one of the-
system is
it's one of the it's the fastest growing community college system in the state, I believe.
Oh, heavens, yes.
Yeah, so
I think it probably is. And that's because we live in Tullahoma.
why yes.
No,
Why,
it
yes.
services a lot of people.
It certainly does. It certainly does, and their nursing program is the best.
Did you get to the Michael Bush exhibit?
Yes, I did.
It was fabulous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did I talk about that once before?
No, we didn't, but we.
That touched my heart. That exhibit touched my heart in many ways. It's things that people don't always think about.
Well, and it's part of the thing is it's a mirror on America, and it's about the things, like you say, that take place in our country that sometimes people just overlook.
Right.
And I wrote something because of that, and it's called "When Is Enough Enough?" When is enough enough? When you're so fat you can't get in your clothes? When that white powder is always on your nose? When your closet's too small for the shoes you don't wear? When it's against the law to feed the homeless and you don't care? And what the hell's up with that hair? When babies are sold and your eyes blind till the little girl's yours, then you draw the line. When you almost can't breathe because of all of the stuff. When is enough enough? When you can't say how you feel because someone's feelings might get hurt, but they'll hire a backhoe to dig up your dirt. When your old man hit you, you hit Timmy, took his lunch money and begged. But it ain't funny when your honey turns into your punching bag. When black, yellow, white, and red aren't colors anymore, but hate-defining triggers, fueling ancient wars. When the Star-Spangled Banner plays and no one stands up. When is enough enough? When you reach the pinnacle and turn to review your attack, you will see most likely you were standing on a woman's back. So you walk toward the edge to gaze over the bluff, knowing with one more step you could self-destruct. When is enough enough?
That's really good, John. And that, to me, epitomizes what Michael Bush was trying to say in his art.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I would love for people to go, and I think it's still going on the rest of this month.
Yes, it is.
And I'd love for people to go and see that and think about it.
Where is Michael Bush from?
He lives in
Angeles.
Bell Buckle, outside of Bell Buckle.
Oh, does he?
But he's he came from Los Angeles. He
Yeah.
used to do, he did movie set paintings.
He is the
Yeah.
only person who painted. He was painting on the movie Jaws, and the shark was named Bruce, and there were 4 of them, and he's the only person that painted on all 4 of the Bruces.
I didn't realize he did all that.
Oh yeah.
We were in Florida when Jaws was first produced, and the thing was there, the shark was
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and we got to meet a lot of the actors and actresses.
You got
and
to meet the shark too?
got to meet the shark. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun.
Cool.
I really, 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 really loved the ocean
I love
before that movie.
Yeah, it kind of makes you
And
think.
I've not jumped out of a boat in the ocean since that movie.
I won't be jumping out of a boat.
I just, I used to like to snorkel and do all of that kind of stuff.
I just can't
and-
imagine anybody jumping out of like a cruise ship. Think about it.
Well, I mean a smaller boat.
Yeah.
We go snorkeling and we go to Penny Camp
I
down
had
in
the
Florida.
Titanic on my mind,
Yeah. Penny Camp, which is an underwater national park, and snorkel and look at all the ships down there and
Yeah.
stuff and everything. And after that movie, I wouldn't do that.
Da, 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 da,
And
da.
the music,
Yeah.
that shows you
What
how
music can do.
how much fear just music can put into your mind.
Absolutely.
So with that, don't go away because we're going to have some good stuff coming on today's show. Pay attention to our sponsors because they're the ones that get us here. Go out there and buy something from them. That'd be a good thing to do. We'll be right back.
It's football time in Tennessee, and nobody tackles the competition like the Russell Barnett Automotive family. With 6 locations to serve you, certified collision center, over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from at russellbarnett.com, hometown auto rental, limited lifetime powertrain warranty on certain units, certified pre-owned units. Too many reasons to mention why. Keep asking the question, why buy anywhere else?
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch, and we're here to present today the conversation with John and Pat, the 19th installment.
We're about to get to 20.
We're coasting downhill on it, John.
Pat, you were making mention a while ago of this little tuner that I have, and it's a great little device to keep your guitar in tune. And since I changed strings the other day just for this segment, I wanted to show folks that because you seem to be intrigued.
I am intrigued with it, John, and those that think that Chapel Hill may be a little bit limited in accepting technology need to take note of that.
Yes.
It'd be similar to the first person from Chapel Hill to get on a commercial airplane, probably.
Well, you can put it on a cell phone now and tune your guitar by a cell phone today. But I want to we've got a segment here I think everybody's going to be interested in, and it's in regard to University of Tennessee and a family that was well recognized there. Well, wish I was on top of Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bills. Once two strangers climbed on Rocky Top looking for a moonshine still. Strangers ain't come down from Rocky Top, reckon they never will. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Well, I missed a chord there, but who cares?
It's unnoticed. With Pat Head Summit's Celebration of Life service last night, that was done, and John, it was probably done better by you then than maybe some in the crowd.
I appreciate the comment, though. Yeah. Flattery is always helpful.
That's exactly right, and it will get you further than some people think it will. Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Where are you headed, John? I want to remind you brought by a book.
I brought by a book because I won it. I'm a winner, you know.
Absolutely, just like Coach Bryant. Nothing but.
But I used to live next door to a fellow named Mr. Orville Finney out on Blue Creek Road. And Mr. Finney, I used to help him on the farm a little bit when I was younger and wanting to do things like that. So Mr. Finney one day casually mentioned that Shirley Majors used to cut hair with him up in Tullahoma in the same barber shop. And the question was by who was the TSSAA man back at that time. But anyway, he came to Rotary and spoke, and he asked Ronnie Carter, and he said, now if anybody can answer this question, you'll get one of these books. Well, I answered that question, and everybody in Rotary is pretty astounded that I knew the answer. And I was astounded too. I remember
you and I can show out in Rotary, it does astound them, John.
That's exactly right. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, John took the book by my wife's place of work, and which was awful nice of him because he knew that once I got it, it would engross me for about 3 or 4 days, and he was in deference to my wife. She knew the same effect was going to happen, and if I wasn't going to clean any dishes or make any beds or participate in any kind of family life, she could have held that book from me, but she was nice enough to let me look at it. And it was incredible. It covered the history of the TSSAA, which is what Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association, that has governed Tennessee high school sports, I believe, since the very early 1900s. And it was divided in segments of history and so forth, and it was divided into successful coaches, and it had just a lot of local history in it. And one of them, of course, would have been the Majors family. That they would have had 5 boys and a daughter, and Coach Majors, Shirley Majors, was the father, and his wife's name was Elizabeth, but I believe she went by John. So they had the husband's name Shirley and the wife's name John, and I think you said that there was
I wrote a little song one time. Stoney Jackson shared that tidbit with me, and I wrote a little song called Papa named Shirley and a Mama named John. I won't bore you with that song, but that's...
Well, Coach Majors, Shirley Majors, was a barber, as you've already pointed out, and he, during the World War II periods, at least, he cut hair in the old Harton Arcade, which would have been right off of Jackson Street. And wasn't long ago, his family was raised in Lynchburg, or he raised his family in Lynchburg and Huntland. And Coach Majors, being John Majors, periodically visits both places and Tullahoma to visit friends. And I got to be with a group of maybe 10 guys that ate lunch downtown with him, and it was really, really interesting. And he said that during Camp Forest days, when we had 60, 70,000 troops being trained at near what's now the Arnold Indian Development Center, that these soldiers would come in on Saturday to get their hair cut, and for at that time would have been a really high price for like $1. He'd cut the hair and give them a shave, and the chair was full all day long. He made probably more money then than he at least Johnny Major said he made more money then than he did when he was anytime he was coaching. And they'd bring the 5 boys would come with him some, and he'd give them enough money to get 1 Coke, I think, and see 2 movies at a time, and they just talked on and on and on about how fun life was at that time. Philip, why don't you put that picture up? That picture's then Coach Shirley Majors is on the right. Now he, of course, when he retired, he was the head coach at the University of South in Swanee, and had some extremely successful teams. I believe he had 2 or 3 undefeated teams. And if you going opposite the way you normally read, go from right to left, the first gentleman is the oldest son, which I think that was his senior year at Huntland. That would be Johnny Majors, or John Majors. It was the head coach at UT for so long. Next to him is Joe Majors, who was a quarterback at Florida State. The next one is Bill Majors, who was an assistant coach until an extremely untimely death that we'll talk about maybe at some point, and we don't have enough time today. And I believe that was his 8th grade year. And then next to him is Larry Majors, who was the smallest of the crew when he was, after he had grown, and he played for his daddy at Swanee and was a real successful player. And then the youngest on the far left is Bobby Majors, who was probably the best athlete of them all and was the biggest of them all. I can remember he was 44, played in the late 60s, and John, when they punted to him, there wasn't anybody in the open field that could catch him. He could make at least one guy miss almost every time.
I'll tell you my little tale. Tommy Allen and I went to see Penn State and Tennessee play at Neyland Stadium, and Lydell Harris and Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell were 2 of the running backs for Penn State, and they were highly rated in the country. And that ball would be punted to Bobby Majors, and the most beautiful wall would be set up, and he would read and dart and dash through or around, whatever. It was amazing, that game. They won 31-11 that day, and it was UT's heyday.
I'm not too sure that wasn't the first night game at Neyland Stadium, too, John. That was a really, really big deal. Penn State being an intersectional powerhouse. And
we're going to come back and do a little bit about the Majors family at another segment, but we've been told that we need to
cut it
speed it up a little bit here.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to shut down the 19th installment now then, John.
Well, I'm going to continue with a little bit more Rocky Top on the next segment
20,
so we don't lose continuity.
Right, and kind of celebrate the meeting segment number 20. That's not the end of the conversations. We'll take his place by storm if we have to finish this segment up. Number 20 is coming.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm with my friend here, Mr. Brooks. Winston Brooks, the city of Tullahoma. Go get it, man.
That's right.
You the one that makes things happen.
It's good to be here today.
I'm glad to see. It's always good to see you. I saw you at a social event the other night with your wife, and Winston's wife is delightful. You're a lucky guy, just like me. You married up.
Yes,
and
that's
it was
made.
just. I just want to tell you, it was good to see her because I don't get to see her as often as I used to. She's a pharmacist, and she changed locations.
Well, and likewise, I got to see your lovely bride as well.
Yeah. So it was fun.
Great day to be in Tullahoma.
Always.
Lots of exciting activities going on in Tullahoma. Starting this Friday night, the Journey Resurrection is going to be at Frazier McEwen Park, 7 p.m. Free concert, food trucks, beer sales. It's going to be the place to be.
That sounds like it to me.
Have you seen the Journey Resurrection concert before?
No.
Man, it sounds just like Steve Perry, and they do all the greatest hits.
I will be on my way to Lincoln County to watch the Wildcats play football.
Well, that would be a great time too. And you know, the Wildcats are having a great season.
They certainly are. Lost one ball game, won 4.
And you may not know this, but the Tullahoma High School band went to a competition on Saturday in Clarksville and came home the grand champions.
That doesn't surprise me
trophy.
a bit.
Isn't that amazing? They worked so hard that day, I couldn't believe it. They were at school on Saturday morning at 9 a.m., practiced until noon, loaded up on buses, drove up there, brought home the gold.
You know, their new show, and I'm sure that's what they did.
Yes.
They did.
Sounds
they
of
did
Silence.
it the other night, and I was very impressed.
Yeah, it's a great show.
It starts off, and you're going, you know, this is a little quiet, and then it builds and it builds and it builds, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, well, they're doing,
show.
it's called Sounds of Silence. It's Beethoven, and then they also do Simon and Garfunkel.
Right,
Yeah, so
right.
It's a neat show. Great performance. Great group of guys.
And don't you wish you'd have thought to go into the flag sewing business a few years ago? All these bands have all these flags now. Somebody, that's a good cottage industry for somebody.
Yeah. The rooster and a red hen. There you go. There's a great cottage industry right there.
There you go. You got it.
Hey, so Saturday night, after you go to the Journey concert, free in the park, another free event at Frazier McEwen Park, TUA movie night. They're going to have The Greatest Showman, which is a great movie if you've never seen it before, about the Barnum and Bailey Circus. And then After you rest up on Sunday, come out Monday night, right before the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. We're having a reception to recognize and honor Microcraft for 60 years of operations in Tullahoma.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that an amazing story right there? One of the great industries in town, fully employee owned. They're the standard of excellence in aerospace machining. So starts at 4:30 Monday night.
When I would walk to school as a kid to East Lincoln School from Druid Lane and East Junior High, I would walk by Charlie Folk's house.
Oh.
And he lived right there in the neighborhood right across from the water tower.
Over on Warren Street.
On Country Club Drive,
Oh,
right there.
okay.
You know, there's that little group of houses
Yes,
right
yes.
across from the water tower. It's about 3 roads back in there. And they lived, he and his family lived back in there. And that's where all that started, in his garage. It was the first place he made a model.
Well, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, I hope you'll join us. There'll be light refreshments. It starts at 4:30.
Yeah, very good.
Public's invited to attend and come out and celebrate that organization. In 1958, they've sent materials to the moon. They've sent materials as fast as anything can fly.
You got it. You got it.
Everything in between. So,
are you on the trail yet?
Yes.
How many miles have you gone?
I'm in about the 200 range. My team.
Your team.
My team, and my team.
You know what trail we're talking about, don't you, folks?
The Appalachian Trail.
Appalachian Trail.
Yes,
walking the Appalachian Trail.
My team's
Get Fit Tullahoma.
The Get Fit Tullahoma, and the name of my team is the City Hall Stars. But I brought some stats. I just want to let you know that the winning team is one called the Davy Walkett, which is 416 miles.
They're the ones that are ahead right now.
They're the top one. The Tennessee Whiskies are at 327, and the third place team is Team App at 310 miles. And then the very dead last team, I thought this was kind of funny. They're called The Walking Dead. They have not reported.
I love it. I love it.
And then finally, we've got a Bark in the Park is coming up on October 13th. So we're just beginning to make the preliminary plans for that. It's a great benefit to help fund the medical needs of the dogs down at the animal shelter. And by the way, the animal shelter is coming out of the ground. We'll be having a ribbon cutting pretty soon. That's going to be a great new facility. Absolutely.
And I know this is Tuesday, but Lunch and Learn tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? It's tomorrow, isn't it?
That is right.
It'll be Lee Gibson. Mm-hmm. And it'll be on songwriting and sound and the things that he does. So
you should go to that.
I'm going to be there. We're going to film part of that.
Well, that'd be good. You're quite the songwriter too.
Well, we'll see.
I'm
you're
quite
too
the
modest.
Fool. Well, you're just being very modest.
Well,
you're a great songwriter.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
you're great at what you do as well.
Well, thank you.
You picked that guitar a little bit.
A little bit, yes.
A little bit.
I try.
You enjoy the band the other night?
Man, it was nice. Yes,
Good
that
band.
was great. It was a fun
band.
band.
Good
yes.
party. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Winston Brooks, or Mr. Brooks. This guy is the guy who keeps the train running over here at Tullahoma, Tennessee. Give him a round of applause and a pat on the back every time you see him, because he's doing a great job.
Well, you're very kind.
And it's not an easy job, but you're doing a great job. Winston Brooks. We'll be right back.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing. or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hi. This next segment we have is going to be presented November 15th that's on a Thursday night at South Jackson Civic Center, and it is Jamie Simmons Jazz Trio, and I'm excited about that. Get your tickets soon.
Have you heard the news? Russell Barnett Automotive Family has launched its new website, russellbarnett.com. Very user-friendly. Over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Online credit applications, hometown auto rental, customer testimonials, trade appraisals, certified collision center, service department scheduling. Too many reasons to mention why I keep asking the question, why buy anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her, and now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
I hope there's some storytellers out there today. I have on the set with me Samantha Fly from Lynchburg and the Caboose Cafe.
Thank you.
Y'all still grilling and making barbecue and all that?
Yeah, sure are.
A storytelling event that's coming up. What's it called? Just storytelling?
Just Lynchburg's Storytelling in Lynchburg.
Storytelling in Lynchburg, and it's going to be Friday, September 28th, starts at 6 o'clock. Tell me a little bit, what got you started thinking about doing a storytelling event?
Well, Mary Jane, who's a friend of mine, and I wanted to go to Jonesboro, and there never seemed to be enough time. So
that's a big storytelling place, Jonesboro, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, the capital, isn't it? I think it's the capital. Anyway, I said, Mary Jane, since we can't go, let's just do it in Lynchburg.
Let's do it, and everything else is happening in Lynchburg. Why not a storytelling thing? So, and understand this is free.
It's free. It is free.
And you can get free lemonade
at
the Caboose
Compliments
Cafe,
of the cafe,
which is just to the left of the gazebo where you're going to do the storytelling.
And also they'll be open till 8 that night.
Okay. So probably the storytelling will end about 8, but maybe not.
Thereabouts.
I know that you have some great storytellers coming in. You want to tell me who they are?
Well, they are, Goose is our Lynchburg Jack Daniels guy.
Oh, the guy that
He's a
does
tour
the tours.
guide, yeah.
And people know about Goose.
And, oh, yeah, and everybody knows Goose. And so he's really funny, and we're looking forward to hearing him.
And he tells, I notice on the poster it says, yarns, tales of the past, true stories, ghost stories.
I'm not real sure what Goose is going to tell.
Well, it'll be good.
Yeah, but he's great. He's well known, and looking forward to it. And then we have Bruce Walker from Huntsville, and he had done storytelling for the Cafe radio show.
Oh, okay.
And Jerry Mansfield's well known.
I've heard of him. What? I'm not sure why.
Well, he storytells around. He's a professional.
Okay, he's a professional.
And so is Bruce. They're professionals.
Okay.
And then John Rickman.
We all know John Rickman. He's got a tale to tell everywhere he goes.
And he's going to sing some stories.
Right. He's a singing story man, I got to say.
And then Dr. Michael Bradley.
Oh my gosh, everybody knows Dr. Michael Bradley.
So we're really looking. And then don't want to leave Rachel out. She's from Huntsville.
Okay.
Rachel Gregory.
And I know that it's September 28th. When did you I know I asked you what made you do it, but how long have you been preparing this?
Well, I've been working on it probably 2 months.
Okay.
And I love it. It's in me. I was raised on stories.
So was I.
Ghost stories.
Yeah. I mean, you know, what else was there to do unless tell stories to each other?
At
least we were using our verbal capabilities, which often isn't used anymore.
Right.
So
and
storytelling is wonderful.
My mother was a great storyteller.
I know that you're going to be in the gazebo. Do you want people to bring chairs if they feel like they need to sit down?
Well, I'm going to have chairs.
Oh, you're going to have some chairs there.
We'll have like 50 or 60, whatever it takes to fill that area. And then people can bring a lawn chair if they're more comfortable. They might
right. So, and this thing may grow out of proportion.
I know.
So I know you'll have a microphone.
We'll have
and
them in the street.
And we
hope.
It's a good opportunity to come and listen. When you were growing up, what was your favorite kind of stories?
Well, ghost stories. My grandparents.
Yeah.
And my mother, she experienced some stuff.
Yeah.
And so she could tell them, they wouldn't quit.
Well, my cousins who just anything they could do just to terrify me was what they wanted to do. So we go up the graveyard where my great-great-grandparents were buried and sit around those tombstones, and we'd never tell the tales, or they wouldn't, and I was too little, I didn't know any stories then, until it got dusk, you know, and it started getting dark, and you could just feel the magic in the air, and the ghosts were lurking everywhere.
And my grandfather's favorite story was The Headless Horseman.
I remember that one. I could just see it.
And he always worked on that.
You know, our time goes really fast. I would encourage you, if you were going to the storytelling, is to go early. There's a lot to see on the square in Lynchburg, and I would have my supper right there at the Caboose Cafe, and be ready for the storytelling. Yeah. And please pass the word to your friends. And there's going to be an open mic session. That means when the professional storytellers are through,
right,
you let people take the mic.
Later.
What are you giving them, about 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
So you can get up there and talk for 5 minutes, and I know some people that would just do that in a heartbeat.
And then we'll have a whistle if 5 minutes is up.
You're going to blow them off the stage. I think it's going to be fabulous. And
thank you, Peggy.
We don't have any more time. I'll try to mention it next Tuesday. It was so good to see you, Samantha. We go way back. We'll be back with more.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
It's my job at South Jackson to bring in the Performing Arts Series, and we opened last Saturday, well, actually last weekend with Triquetra. And you just saw Jamie Simmons and his trio duo project coming in November. Well, March the 16th, 2019, we have the tribute band for Jimmy Buffett, and they're supposed to be the nationwide best tribute band going. They're A1A. We have a clip from them.
Do you remember those great Jimmy Buffett classics that made you feel like you had your toes in the sand and a tropical breeze blowing through your hair? Songs that made you want to drop what you were doing, grab a bunch of friends, and go catch a little taste of the tropics? If that's you, then you're going to love A1A, the official and original Jimmy Buffett tribute show. For over 20 years, people have flocked to A1A concerts to get a fresh helping of that tropical beach experience, treating audiences to a mix of Jimmy Buffett songs, popular reggae tunes, and some of their own original trop rock melodies. A1A never fails to bring the crowd to their feet. In 1977, Jimmy Buffett released his 7th album, and the song Margaritaville soared to the top of the charts. Within months, Jimmy began to experience sold-out concerts and audiences awash in beachwear and flip-flops. And for the next 30-plus years, a ticket to a Jimmy Buffett show has been one of the hardest concert tickets to get a hold of. So in 1992, Jeff Pike formed A1A to bring that high-energy, tropical rock sound to fans who just wanted a brief escape to the ocean breezes, steel drums, and white sands of Key West in the Caribbean.
We said away again in Margarita, searching for my lost sugar salt. I can't find my salt. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, and I know it might be my fault.
20 years of Atlanta Parrothead Club madness. The world is here, Land Sharks here, Parrotheads unite. Oh, we're gonna eat all night long.
Can you feel all circling, honey? Can you feel them stooling around? You got fans to the left, fans to the right. You're the only bait in town.
Get your hands in the air,
y'all rock. Tell you y'all to rock. May I roll hop. Tell you y'all rock. Tell you to rock. May I roll hop.
With a lead singer that truly channels the Jimmy Buffett vibe, A1A creates a great island atmosphere complete with beach balls and floral lays. You'll love the way A1A transports the audience to the Caribbean, or makes you feel like you're planting a beach chair firmly in the white sands of the Gulf Coast.
I'm a true Parrothead from way back when, back in the 70s. I've seen Buffett 10 times, and I gotta tell you, this was incredible. I am a true lover of you guys. You're awesome. I will be here next time and the time to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cecilia. You're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily.
Thanks, Cecilia. Say bye.
Bye.
Yes, I am a pirate. 200 years too late. Cannons dawn thunder, nothing to plunder. I'm an over 40 victim of fate, arriving too late.
kids. Hey, I'm Jeff Pike of A1A. Did you know that for over 22 years, A1A has been traveling the world as the official and original tribute show to Jimmy Buffett? We are the first band of our kind, and I will proudly tell you it just doesn't get any better than us. Hey, look, it's an honor to state that we have earned the peer and colleague respect of Jimmy and his band. And I have also had the privilege of performing on stage with Jimmy himself and appearing in an MTV video with him. In 2012, Jimmy was instrumental in placing A1A in the Lionsgate major motion picture What to Expect When You're Expecting, starring Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Lopez, and Chris Rock, among some others. We also had a song on the movie soundtrack, which was released on Capitol Records. We have entertained world-renowned clients such as the U.S. Navy, the MGM Grand, Ted Turner, Bill Gates and Microsoft, CNN, NASCAR, Hewlett-Packard, the Atlanta Braves, and many, many more.
Holding the distinction of being the first and only tribute show ever to be sanctioned by Jimmy Buffett himself, A1A performs as a 6 to 8 piece band complete with audio and light production, bringing to life a colorful and energetic family-friendly Jimmy Buffett tribute show.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano goes.
When attending or booking an A1A performance, you can expect to hear all of your Jimmy Buffett favorites, as well as some classic reggae and Latin rhythms. The energy, musicianship, originality, and excitement that have always surrounded an A1A performance are a driving force that has helped the band remain the first and foremost Jimmy Buffett tribute show in history. Imagine the great responses you'd get if you had A1A play at your next corporate party.
Sailor, seas in my veins, my tradition remains. I'm glad I don't live in your trailer.
As original recording artists, A1A have released 3 all-original CDs of their own trop rock music. You can check them out by going to the music page of a1alive.com.
Hey, Margarita, oh, you don't know how much I need you. You're such a lovely señorita.
Now I get to do a lot of fun things as mayor. One of the things I get to do is make proclamations. So I'll make a proclamation tonight. I'm going to proclaim the night to be A1A Night in Norcross.
To take the road to paradise, only you by my side. I'm through chasing dreams that I can't find. So little time. Come on, you know, sing for me. How do you like it? I like mine with lettuce and tomato, eyes 57 and French fried potatoes, a big kosher pickle and a cold draft beer. Well, good God Almighty, which way do I steer?
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Maid. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with a material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterwear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com.
to find our handcrafted designs for
The Cock of the Walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
In TV land, it's a pleasure to join you today. And camera ladies, good morning. Thank you, John, for that introduction. We've had some responses to our trash talk a couple of weeks ago on garbage, but a lot of people said, well, I didn't know that. Well, that's what this program's all about, sharing some of those wonderful moments with you that have happened in the many years ago and are happening right now. And I want to discuss with you a topic that never has an end to it. There's so many facets of it. It's been part of our community for many, many years, and that's the railroads. What about the railroads? We've shared some things about the railroads before, but a little bit different twist to it this morning. I'd like to share with you some of the famous or infamous people that have ridden the rails and have graced our city from time to time. For example, many years ago in the middle 30s, there was a famous gangster by the name of Al Capone from Chicago, and the officers were transporting him to the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, and he rode the Dixie Flyer from Chicago to Atlanta, and word got out that he was going to be on that train one morning, up in the morning, and so sure enough, they let him, the officers let him go out on the observation platform at the end of the train, and I remember we watched him, and he had a big wide brim hat on, and I'm sure an expensive suit that he'd been wearing as leader of the gangsters in Chicago, and he reached up to take his hat off to wave to people, and sure enough, one half of the handcuffs was still on his wrist. But it was interesting, and to read about or hear about a person like that on the radio, and then to see him come through Tullahoma. And another well-known person that came through town one time on the train was Lindbergh, the famous flyer that flew the Atlantic Ocean and soloed many years ago. But Lindbergh, that's been part of our history and part of our country for a long time. I remember too that one time the President of the United States, Franklin Roosevelt, was on a train from Warm Springs, Georgia to Chicago, and I don't know for what reason, whether the weather was bad, which certainly wouldn't have made any difference on the railroad, but it might have been rough or whatever, but they had this, of course, the presidential train, and it backed up in the siding that goes to up the branch line, and they parked his train there that night between what is now the Mid-South Uniform Company and the Exxon gas distributorship there, and the FBI, I mean the Secret Service was all over town that night, just making sure everything was secure, you know. And I thought it was interesting that they'd back into Tullahoma to let the president have a good night's sleep there without the train running. And of course, you know that Tullahoma has the widest street in the world, bisected by the railroad that was built between 1850 and 1855, well known throughout the world as the widest street in the world in Tullahoma, Tennessee. And then one little side note about the railroads of some celebrities, infamous celebrities that graced our city was the hobos. We had a lot of hobos that came through on the freight trains especially back in the early and middle 30s, and they were people just like us that had fallen on hard times or liked to travel or whatever, and they would stop and go to some of the homes along the Atlantic Street there and ask for some food, and you know, they never did cause any trouble at all. They were mostly gentlemen. Never saw any female hobos, but we saw a whole lot of men hobos, from youngsters to oldsters alike. And one famous one in particular went to the R.H. Mitchell home that before it burned stood on South Atlantic Street right in front of Hogg's Hardware Company there on the corner of Warren and Atlantic. And this hobo asked for a handout, which they gave him, and asked him, I think, to spend the night with him, which he did. But he didn't have any money to pay, but said, I'm an artist, and I would like to decorate one of your rooms. And so they wondered about him, but anyway, he did. They got some paint for him, and in their sitting room, he decorated that room with beautiful artwork from the baseboard all the way up to the ceiling and around the mantelpiece and the walls and around the windows. And that building was sold 15 or 20 years ago, and the family asked me if I would go down there and photograph that room that the hobo had painted, which I did, and it's beautiful. The ceiling and all was just real beautiful. And of course, time went on, and there weren't many hobos. And I think there's an association or a club, whatever they call themselves, the Hobos of America, that have a reunion in Iowa every year that's interesting. But of course, the other people that we know well that have come through on the train that we probably didn't get any publicity on it, but they came through, and And one of the most important and well-liked and popular pieces of railroad equipment that came through Tullahoma was the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey's circus. When they moved from Nashville to Chattanooga, there were 4 trains. The Cook train went through first, real early in the morning, and then the animals and went through on the second train, and the third and fourth train were the actors and acrobats and circus administration crew. And one time my grandfather told me that the circus train was ahead of schedule, so they stopped in Tullahoma to feed and water their animals, and they thought, well, we'll just put on a little show here in Tullahoma for the folks here. And there was a vacant lot a couple of blocks up on East Grundy Street, and they took some of the elephants and tigers and some of the others up there and put on about a 30 or 40 minute show for the folks in Tullahoma, and they really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Of course, the circus now, I think, goes by truck mostly, but that was a real treat for the Tullahoma people to see. And I'd like to say this is not the end of the story, because there's a whole lot more to come. And we hope in the meantime you have a good day and a good week. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them, and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat, you know? They do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street, and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and
we were just talking about Justice.
Justice Sheffield was called up by the Yankees, and he packed his bags, and he's up in the majors. Now, he's been working for that organization for a while, but he's been called up, and he could possibly They're playing a game. Of course, this is Tuesday morning we're doing this. They're playing a game noon today. He could possibly have his first major league start pitching for the Yankees in today's game.
Exciting.
Isn't that incredible?
He is making Tullahoma look fine.
Oh, yeah. What a great young man.
Congratulations.
Fantastic athlete.
Justice and to his family. That's fabulous.
And I saw something, I was telling Andrew last night on the internet, and I want to give a kudos to Chuck Lynch and Dustin and that whole family. Dustin was part of the group that went out on the, he was a honorary captain at Florida for the football game.
Oh, okay.
And Chuck played football for Florida, the University of Florida, the Gators. He was a Gator, and they were doing this interview with Dustin about his favorite team, and it was the Gators, and you know, he's in Tennessee, but he was a Gator, and he was a golfer. He wasn't big enough to play football.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, if you could have your 3 other guys for your foursome, who would it be? And he said, Tim Tebow, Steve Spurrier, and Chris Collinsworth, who's a TV announcer. And come to find out, they went to Florida, Chuck and Dustin, his mom and dad, and they're walking down, and this woman has a iPad, and she says, "Here's somebody wants to talk to you." Well, it was Tim Tebow.
Oh, great!
And he congratulated him on being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and that he was a fan, and he wished he could be there. They'd never met before, but he was looking forward to meet him. Well, there's Tim Tebow. Well, then Steve Spurrier walks up to him and shakes hands with him, and then so he goes into a trailer, and there's Chris Collinsworth sitting in the trailer.
So all his heroes.
All his heroes, and they figured out that Chris and Chuck played there at the same time.
That's
so
neat,
Chris Collinsworth's son is going to Notre Dame, and he said, "I will throw you, if you'll just graduate, I will throw you whatever kind of party you want." And his son says, "Well, I know who I want the entertainment to be, Dustin Lynch."
Dustin Lynch, there you go.
And so how all of this convolutedly comes around, and there they are sitting together, and Chuck and Chris had been teammates, and Dustin walks out on the field for the coin toss.
Isn't that great?
Coin toss. And I just think it's magnificent. Congratulations to the Lynch family, one and all, for Dustin and the great success, because, you know, without good bringing up, you don't get there.
And the same
learning how to work.
Same goes for the Sheffield family.
Same goes for the Sheffield family. Exactly
Fabulous
right.
Group of people.
You know, and we're lucky in Tullahoma to have this kind of stuff going on.
A lot of things are going on in Tullahoma. Good
What
things,
good
bad things,
No,
mediocre
we ain't got no
things.
bad things going on. Ooh, yeah. Well, you know, we do in society and in Tullahoma and everywhere. There are bad things that go on, and just like that I read earlier today, and go by and see Michael Bush's show. You know, we need to find a way to just get along.
We need to find a way to get along, and we need to find a way to help people find themselves that are lost in society. You know, there's a lot of opiate addictions.
A lot of people
there's
lost.
A lot of homelessness where people, and a lot of people that are just one check away from being homeless.
That's right.
It's a tough time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good work goes on in this community,
Yes,
I have
there
to
is.
say, that helps people. And I think that any thing that's bothering you, you can find some help if you'll just go looking
Reach out.
for it. Reach out.
Put your pride. Don't let your pride get in your pocketbook.
That's right. You know, mental health issues, addiction issues, people that can't afford to pay all their medical bills. There's
Utility bills.
There's places that you can
Places
get help.
to go.
So go and find help.
Speaking about people in Tullahoma to be proud of, and I said get along, why can't we all just get along, which is Kenny Chesney's new number one song.
Yeah.
Drink a beer, sing a song, why can't we all just get along? And one of the co-writers on that is Robin Majors from Tullahoma.
I didn't realize
And
that.
Robin has worked for Kenny for quite some time.
Good for
He's a
him.
harmonica player, and he's worked for all kinds of people in the music business.
Yeah.
And so he's working for Kenny for the past 4 or 5 years, and he was a co-writer on that song. So there's somebody else from Tullahoma who's out there doing things to make us proud.
There's a lot of people that I don't know about that are just fabulous people.
But we're proud of all of them, and I'm proud of the Tullahoma Wildcats.
Oh, my goodness.
They're playing great
They're
football.
really doing a good job.
And they beat Spring Hill pretty soundly last week. We're going to Fayetteville this week to play Lincoln County. It's a non-conference game, but it's almost like we've been playing them for so long. I can remember when I played, it was a big game when we'd go there and play Lincoln County.
And it remains a big game
It remains a big game, so get in your car, drive over to Lincoln County.
And don't forget the halftime show. We have a fabulous high school
right.
band out at Tullahoma High School.
Yes, we do.
And they're always doing a halftime show, and it's always #1.
And I want to thank, again, Winston Brooks for all he does for the city of Tullahoma, for you and me as citizens. He's a great guy. Thanks, Winston, for what you do. Folks, we appreciate you watching. We'll be back next time.